so that they can justify a brutal response. And then a few minutes later, we see them moving down the street. For the record, when they closed off those streets with cars that Joe and Jakari reported, that made the streets were all then public walkways. Once they blocked those streets to car traffic, it was walkways. They then marched on the people and tear gassed the crowd, which led to, forcing the crowd into a violent response. And then all of a sudden we find about the fires. And that's the problem. A building that large down the street, that far away, it takes time to burn a building like that. Like the nail place has highly flammable chemicals in it. It could burn, but even that place, it takes a few minutes to get the fire going to a point that it roars like that. With the major building, you have to question the timing. I've responded to fires after a half hour, and we get there in time to save a small building. I mean, I'm talking about a house, not even a major warehouse. So unless that insulation was in there, those guys pre-planned their building. So if there was something dangerous in there and they thought it was going to burn quickly and collapse, like the major fire that happened in Georgetown, South Carolina recently, where our firefighters didn't go in because they knew ahead of time, don't go in. If it catches fire, surround and drown. With this, they did a surround and drown on the front, but they began cutting in, breaching as though they could get ahead of the fire. So they were not anticipating that fire could sweep that entire building the way it did. So and the other thing is, Alex, we always teach, watch the crowd in a potential arson situation. Now, we know this is arson, whether or not it's an agent provocateur, whether it's not, whether it's outside, whether it's Delta Force, black helicopters, I don't care. Whoever burned it, it was arson. That meant that they would be watching, and the second thing is, if it was some sort of agent provocateur, they would then be the ones firing on the fire department. Immediately, the police should have gone ahead and circled and given them shielding, and then looked for where those shots are being fired, because that's your prime suspect in the arson case, because they don't want the fire to go out. The firefighters were concerned that if they didn't contain it in that building, it could spread to the surrounding community, literally burning down the city. And so they weren't going to give up. But that's what begs the question, is how buildings like these burn that fast, because it takes planning, to make sure a building goes up in flames. I've seen a building burn that I suspected that it was allowed to burn, and it took 2 hours to burn it down. And we're talking about lumber burning, and paint company, and it took hours to burn.
Sure, unless it's really dry and there's 80-mile-an-hour winds. I guess those are some of the only fires that can really go quick, unless it's an old tinderbox house. I'm not a firefighter like you, but I absolutely hear what you're saying. Big picture, what do you think's really going on here? What do you think this is distracting from? Who do you think's behind this, if it is an overall psyop?
Well, Obama couldn't get his outbreak so far, and he couldn't get his other problems. So it looks like this is a tinderbox. This is throwing a spark into a tinderbox, because this is escalating, because the people in Ferguson have a right to be upset. There has been malfeasance. We're seeing, no one wants to discuss about the black guy that was suicidal, that got shot by cops when he was over 10 feet away. There was no way for him to jump on those two officers. It happened right after this guy's shooting. No one is protesting Crawford to this level. So they're provoking this because there was sufficient manpower to have gotten the instigators and the provocateurs. When the people were in the street and they were protesting peaceably, even though there might have been gunfire, there was nobody in the crowd. Alex, when you dump a mag into a crowd, you expect multiple casualties. There weren't multiple casualties at the first firing. The black gentleman standing next to Joe last night was cussing at the cops and taunting them, but he would not fire first. He said, hey, if you shoot at us and you kill anybody else, we'll shoot back. And that's what people need to look at. The locals were saying, hey, this has got to stop. This shoot first mentality's got to stop. But if you shoot us, we'll shoot back. They were not being provocative or firing at the police officers. So it calls into question who was doing the shooting. And the people in the street were not shooting. They were kneeling, some of them, in a peaceful protest like Tiananmen Square. And the response was to tear gas the crowd. It's a myth that you can do riot control, Alex. You can't control a crowd. They can tear you apart. I've got a friend that was a veteran in Korea, and when the human wave attacks started in Korea, they slaughtered them wholesale. They couldn't stop the human wave attacks. If that crowd had wanted those police officers, they could have had them. They were being peaceable. But to attack the crowd with violence is to provoke the people, because the next step, when they can't get justice, they feel they have been wrong, is violence. When the people can't get the justice, then they get angry. And as Joe already pointed out, that cell phone store could have been defended. The guys had ballistic shields, they had body armor, and they had cover behind vehicles. They could have stopped the looting of the close-by stores.
Absolutely. Look, if they had pounced on people, the criminals, immediately, they'd have been heroes. All this would have got shut down. That's 101. Great call. Great perspective. Thank you, Ken. We'll come back with Dan and others that are patiently holding. Stay with us. I'm Alex Jones.
Hey, Boomer. I learned in school today that 60% of our bodies are made of water. Good thing we have the Berkey system. It's the cleanest, best water ever. Mom says it's because the Berkey's filtration system cleans out the bad stuff and leaves only pure, delicious water. I know, right? You love it too. Yeah, I'm thirsty too. Let's go get some. Get Berkey Clean Water by calling 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653. Or visit GoBerkey.com.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
The lining of your lungs is supposed to be protected with glutathione to neutralize incoming irritants. In the absence of enough glutathione, your lungs are more prone to irritation. Listen to the real-world results of one man using a powerful glutathione-supporting food.
Hi, my name is Bill O'Brien. I generally suffer through an asthmatic breathing type situation. My breathing is shallow and generally constricted in the nose and lungs. After consuming One World Whey today, I have tremendous energy and also notice my breathing is free. I can feel the air in my left nostril, and it is free all the way to my abdomen, which is pretty remarkable because I rarely get that feeling. Being a singer, I love feeling this unrestricted voice. The only thing new I've actually added to my routine is One World Whey. Wow.
Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld, WHEY.com.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
Do you have relatives and friends that are convinced there is no need ever to prepare for any kind of emergency? Are these also folks you buy Christmas presents for? At 30dayfoodsupply.com, we can solve both of these problems at the same time. Go to 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010. We can ship your Christmas presents directly to them. Choose from our original $99 30-day food supply, our long-term storage vegan burger mixes, and other oatmeals, soups, porridges, beans, and granolas for everyday use. All products are non-GMO, MSG-free, and vegetarian. Most are gluten, soy, and nut-free. Call 541-229-0010 today. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low, cutting out the middleman by buying directly from their producers in Oregon. Remember, only $10 ships your entire order to the lower 48. Visit the website 30dayfoodsupply.com. Call 541-229-0010. 30dayfoodsupply.com. 541-229-0010.
We will not be forgotten. We won't be left behind. Our memories live on in Port
We're here Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. Back weeknights, 7 o'clock Central. And back Sundays, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. I'll be here live this coming next Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. I think I'm going to take off Thursday and Friday to be with family. But if all Hades is breaking loose and these riots spread around the country, I or David Knight or some of the other crew will be in here with special reports, live on the radio, and live on the nightly news. In fact, we'll have continual coverage and commentary. Jakari and Biggs are going to be there as well, covering what's unfolding. And we'll have live streams at the top of Infowars.com tonight. I guess the headline will be live feed of Ferguson War Zone, because that's what it is. All right, let's go through a bunch of your calls, and I've got other breaking news. Obamacare architect Gruber set to testify at December House hearing. Good. Drag him in. That's just some of the news we've got coming up. Right now, let's go to Dan in Texas. Thanks for holding.
Hi, Alex. Good afternoon.
Go ahead. Thank you.
All right, Alex. As I was listening to the show today and watching the live feed last night, it just occurred to me, what if we could, like the InfoWarriors, could show that there's still some hope on the light in the world and help, maybe a little fund to help not rebuild the city. I mean, that's overcoming too much. But some of these mom and pa's, they got to pay a deductible, something like that. Like how you help the phone lady, the Obama phone lady, or that artist you met at the Alamo. And, I
try to do that. I try to show good cops. I try to show, success stories. I try to be as positive as I can, because that's the answer. I don't want to just be negative. But at the same time, there's footage of what looks like, part black CNN reporter being hit in the head by a rock. And there's another lady who looks, a lady of color from another channel being attacked by the crowd. And I just think it's a bunch of scum thugs that just want an excuse to commit crime. And that's what you always see, is a lot of criminals will piggyback on some cause. And the system knows this and is allowing this to go on so they can demonize all of our basic freedoms. But I hear you.
It's just desperate. You can just see the desperate. This is a low blow. This isn't something up there at the 9/11 type thing. This is so low that this is a last-ditch effort. And
I agree. And why would Delta Force, I'm not saying they've done this, but they've done it before in Seattle, and they killed the folks at Waco. They're the ones. Came out in congressional testimony. People don't say, there's a mystery of Waco. There's no mystery. Delta Force was there. They were the ones behind the Bradley fighting vehicles, doing the infantry maneuvers. They were the ones that shot the people as they were trying to get out the back. They were the ones that went in and put the bomb on the church records vault, the concrete structure inside where the women and children were hiding, and it turned them into splattered soup all over the walls. General Benton K. Parton was the former head of Air Force weapons development, has like 3 degrees, frequent guest of this show, ran the HARP program, everything. He went and investigated it. He got the photos and all the rest of it. The people were unburned. They were soup. The Delta Force, with an infantry maneuver, climbed in the building, killed a bunch of people. They had an order, kill everyone. And they went in there and they killed the men. They went in and planted a bomb on top of the building and then blew a hole right through it with shrapnel, with a shape charge, killing everybody. And the fact that they're there now, prime suspects in everything, I'll tell you right now, or whoever those special forces are from Fort Bragg, may not be Delta Force. I'm just sorry. They've done it over and over and over again. As soon as they showed up, it screamed red flags, screamed staged events. And who do they work for? Not even the Pentagon. They work for the president directly. And so that tells you who's in charge of this whole situation. Because Biggs saw them basically ordering the police and sheriffs and state police around. So the Army's there. I believe it's a psyop. They're letting the crooks run wild to try to get this stirred up nationwide. And then you run a psyop. As you stir it up and let it happen, you also demonize all demonstrations going forward, and you legitimize weaponizing the police, federalizing the police. That's the end game. Now, I'm not saying Delta Force did this time, but they've done it before. They did it in Seattle. So I'm saying this is suspicious. What do you say? I'm not going to go to calls because I'm going to break the short segment. Long segment coming up. I'm going right to James and then Chris and Jeff and Boris and others. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. We got Boris in Arizona listening or watching on his Roku. Yeah, you can see the show on Roku and Boxy and 100 other platforms, literally. I can't keep track of them all. And iHeartRadio, we're still messing with that. They called us up and wanted to put us on like 6 months ago, but we're only on their podcast. And then we wanted to pick it up live, and that we've been monkeying around with that. We're going to see what happens with that. But we're going to come right back with your calls. Stay with us.
We're on the march.